SIR for its launch and successful implementation into across other sister labs. Please, ma'am.
Scientists and research. And this is one particular time where the government is really celebrating science and scientists for their importance, especially in the current context of the country as well as for the globe. Why I would say is because when they started with Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, then now it is made as Jai Anusandhan, Jai Vigyan and Jai Anusandhan. Meaning is country as well as the leadership fully aware of the importance of science and technology, and the entire globe is also now fully aware that the biggest challenge of today is climate change that could be solved not by XYZ, only by science and technology and only through research. And for every country is now increasing the fund for science and technology, for which India is not an exception. But you may think that the amount of money that is given for science and technology may be not sufficient. I'm not denying that. But at the same time, we as responsible Indian citizens, we should not find that as a reason to say that just because I was not given this much amount of money, my contribution is not up to that level. I think as a very responsible citizen, I always used to give this kind of an example. In a family, father will be always wanting the son and the daughters to be given whatever they are requiring. But sometimes the father may not be in a position to support the kids to the extent they expect. But then the kids will also understand, based on the interest of the family, that I can also do something and I can live up to the expectation of the family. So now I will say, even though the government is trying its level best to support us through financial, monetary benefits to scientific research, we are also trying our level best to work with industries, work with third party, by means of which we also generate some amount of money, by means of which we maintain the equilibrium.
When Prime Minister in recent address, when he addressed the CSR conference, I was looking at his live address. He told, he called upon the institution to generate, to be self-sustainable, at least generate some 50% of the thing. And he told something about one lab, one person, one lab. What is it?
Actually, two questions are there. Number one is all of us should be self-supporting. I also really encourage that view. Why? Because CSR is an 80-year-old organization. So country is not asking us to be 100% self-supporting. Meaning is at least now we should also earn and we should be able to manage. How long you will have your son at home who will be really living with your financial support. At one point of time, the sons and daughters, they should also take care of their life with their own earnings and savings. So the message is applicable to science and technology also. So we have taken it with that kind of a positive spirit and we are also working towards that. That is number one. Coming to your second question, one person, one lab is, CSR is a society for which the Honorable Prime Minister is the President and the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology is the Vice President, and we have around 31 members in the society who have been cherry-picked by the national leadership to promote science and technology through CSIR. Therefore, now this is the first time in the history of CSIR and in the history of the country, Honorable Prime Minister has asked every CSIR society member to adopt one CSIR lab, a minimum of one CSIR laboratory. And you will be surprised to know that 2-3 members, they came forward, they volunteered, they wrote to me, they called me and they expressed their willingness to get themselves coordinated with more than 1 or 2 laboratories. Therefore, all the 37 laboratories, now we are getting our guidance and mentorship through such society members. Meaning is the high stature people are there in the society, so they will be offering their advice, suggestion, guidance, motivation and mentorship to the laboratory with which he or she is attached with.
What will be the larger impact of this kind of initiative? Like, you said people are coming forward to give their suggestions and all that. What impact are you expecting from this?
See, for example, like the way you said, you have been coming to this institute several years. You never thought that even during work time also they can munch and they can still get it justified. Now, I'm a third person, I'm just coming today and therefore it comes to my mind. This is called lateral thinking, or the person with no kind of preconceived thoughts can think in a totally different way. Now, we as researchers, we will be having the preconditioned mind. Our mind would have been already framed its own thought process. But whenever we are getting this kind of a mentorship and guidance and suggestions and advisory from a society member who is rich with knowledge, who is rich with experience, who is rich with expertise, when the advice comes from the other end, I think that will give a lot of value addition to our basic research as well as translational research.
When you address there, you told about this loyalty.
Yeah.
And it is a serious issue.
True.
You go to Nestle.
Yeah.
I can name some 1 dozen of the companies which are thrived because of CFTRI. I don't know what they have, very CSR fund. They are doing very well. Globally, they are doing very well. And I don't know what they have paid back to.
Like that, this is the common feeling of CFTRI fraternity, that many people, when they take up the technology from CFTRI, they don't pay back the royalty. Because certain things, that should come automatically from the other end. Every time you cannot go for legal solutions. And we are not here for such kind of a thing also, because CSR as an organization, the aim is, that's what I told you, to touch the lives of the country, to reach the unreached part of the society. And therefore, through our science and technology, we try our level best to offer our service to this nation in whichever form it is expected.
No,
So
don't
whenever...
you think that contribution will help for the self-sustainable?
That they should give. If they are not giving, I think we have to now come up with a kind of a systemic practice. For example, once upon a time, there was only one channel called National Research Development Corporation, NRDC, that was acting as the one and only channel through which we used to transfer our technologies to any kind of a client. Therefore, they used to help us in the technology transfer, and nowadays we feel that we need somebody to ensure that we get the royalty also. Maybe can we give it to the same NRDC or to somebody else who will be able to take care of both the technology transfer from this end to other end, and at the same time the royalty that gets transferred from the other end to CSIR labs back. So we are seriously working, thinking, discussing in that direction also. But at the same time, what we feel is whatever had happened, because all those terms and conditions would not have been spelled very clearly during the time of the technology transfer. Therefore, they may not have more than enough justifying points right at this point of time to ask them. But now we are modifying our technology transfer guidelines in such a way that whomsoever is taking CSIR's technology, CSIR logo should be there. This we are now making it as one sentence in all our technology transfer agreements. This was not followed in the Esther years, and therefore now we don't have a justifying face to ask them, even though it is known to both the parties.
Nandini, Bharat News TV, Mysore.